wondered where teachers' superpowers came from? I believe that life offers us learning opportunities that allow us to build who we are and what we have to offer the world. Literally, the time to develop our talents. It's up to us to take these foundational experiences, place them in our toolkit, and utilize them when the time arrives for those superpowers to be activated with our students in our classrooms. My life has been filled with moments that have allowed me to gather and build those talents. Some of my earliest memories are filled with my curiosity about the world around me. From indoors to outdoors, I always wanted to know why, how come, what that makes that work. I will never forget learning about electricity from my dad, who taught us with some deliberate shocks, and then worked with all of us to build a Heathkit TV from scratch. I'm sure it probably drove my parents a little crazy, but they always encouraged my creativity and my curiosity, which has in turn fueled my lifelong endeavor to learn. Curiosity is a cornerstone in my classroom. I love having different artifacts and science toys out on my front desk because students will enter my class and they'll say, "What's this, Dr. P? How does this work?" This simple act creates an opportunity to support students and encourage their curiosity in the world that surrounds them. To this day, I love to provide hands-on lessons that allow students to beam with awe and wonder as they learn something new. Encouraging students to develop self-chosen science fair projects further ignited that curiosity and lets them know that they can solve problems and create solutions for the community that they live in. Overall, these experiences have paved a path to lifelong learning for those students. When my parents decided to move us from Canada to Kona, Hawaii in 1976, we went through a huge culture change. Basically, I went from 8th grade in Calgary, Alberta, to 9th grade at Kunawaina, located in rural Kealakekua. My parents wisely moved us into a very local subdivision during the summer, and we quickly learned to speak Pidgin, a Creole language used throughout Hawaii. Although the move was very traumatic for me as a tween, my parents understood that if we were immersed in the local culture immediately, we would have the best chance of fitting in where we had just settled down. The teacher's superpower that I gained from this experience was to embrace the ethnically diverse cultures I lived in and learn from the people around me. I have never forgotten those lessons, and it's the reason that my relationships with all of my students to this day are real and connected to our local culture and environment. Fast forward to graduation from Kunawaina High School in 1980. Many of my classmates moved on to college, but I remained in Kona, where I began working as a receptionist for Robbie and his partner Keith at their bookkeeping company. I would go into Robbie's office and I would ask him my curiosity question for the day, because I loved, actually coveted, his incredible encyclopedia set. He would smile, he would answer my question, and then one day he said to me, "You really need to go to college. Have you ever thought about applying to UH Hilo?" I hadn't, but with that encouragement, I applied and I moved to Hilo. As I worked on completing my biology degree, I realized that I actually enjoyed working with my peers to study the content from our science classes. In the fall of my senior year, I took a course in teaching elementary science, and then was advised by a professor that I really respected to not apply to medical school, but instead go into teaching. This conversation activated my superpower to pivot and move down that unknown road, which ultimately led me to my current school and teaching position. I continue to advocate for listening to that inner voice that asks us to take a risk and go down the road less traveled, saying, why not, instead of, I can't. Through the years, I've had to think outside of the DOE box to obtain funding to support science learning experiences in my classroom, my school, and community. Some were successful, others not, but through the superpower of diligence, I never gave up. Ultimately, all of these projects and programs led me to applying for the Albert Einstein Distinguished Educator Fellowship. Taking a huge risk by participating in this experience allowed me to ultimately design where I am today. Not only was I able to obtain a partnership for funding to create the envelopes of science awesomeness that several thousand students use each year, but I was able to create an opportunity for my local keiki, my students, to participate in the summer physics camp hosted by the Los Alamos National Lab in New Mexico. Without taking these risks over the years, I would never have been able to design the rewards that my students, fellow teachers, and community now benefit from. This superpower opened the doors to so many opportunities that reach way beyond the Pacific Ocean that encircles our island. Finally, our school's mission truly encapsulates what I feel is the epitome of my toolbox of superpowers. They are something that I live every day. I truly believe these values are universal and will equip my students with their own superpowers to carry forward into the future. The first is to know your kuleana. It is your responsibility to know and do what is needed to positively affect people around you. Second, be pono, be righteous. Be righteous in your decisions, conduct yourself with positive actions, because ultimately, these decisions and these actions will affect your environment. And finally, live aloha. Be humble and loving in a way that with how you interact with others. All of these cultural values embody the superpowers that make teachers human and humane. I believe that each educator in this room has similar superpowers that they've shared with their students. Tonight is a very special night, and I want to say mahalo nui loa to the friends, family, and community that are here to celebrate the National Teachers Hall of Fame and the 2025 inductees. More importantly, I want to thank my friends Joel and Elizabeth Truesdale. Joel nominated me for this amazing award. My Einstein fellow, Cami, who drove from Colorado for being here to help me celebrate this evening. The National Teachers Hall of Fame, all of the board of directors, and this wonderful place of Emporia. Wow, you folks are the epitome of aloha, and I really appreciated that. Finally, I want to send my love and aloha to my husband and my children, Keanu and Moana Lily, for being here to support me in this moment. 38 years ago today, my husband and I were married in Kaiviki Chapel. Dean, I bet you didn't think we'd be sitting here 38 years later at this amazing place celebrating this awesome award. I love you. And I'm glad that your support over these last 3+ decades has allowed my teacher superpowers to grow and flourish. Aloha, aloha everyone, and mahalo nui loa for your presence at this wonderful event.